What's up, Yankees universe? Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Evening Brew. I am your guy, Hector, joined by my compañero. I got my guy, Mr. Celso Porto. And all you Yankee fans, wake up and get your coffee. How you doing, Celsito? You're looking good.
Thanks, bro. It's officially the first episode back with you for baseball season. I'm so excited. We got our boy Scott hanging out with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Scott's on the gauntlet of podcasts, right? So you're going to see this. I don't know if we're the first one today after foul territory, but I feel like he's sweat, wipe it off, next show. Yeah, like he has somebody behind the camera, end scene, go.
And before we came down here to Tampa, right? Before we came down here to for spring training, I made sure I packed up a polo. So I'm ready to go out there on the streets and interview some fans. I got my baseball polo shirt. Hopefully Scott Braun is impressed because I was a big boy and packed my polo. I'm ready to go.
You're stupid, bro. I actually think Scott is backstage. Let me
let's
switch it up here. Scott, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're ready.
He got the dummies.
Good. Did I do the right one? Bam! Scott is in the building. What up, Scott?
How we doing?
I'm good, my guy.
Today. I'm sorry, Porto. You are not. This is 3 today. The other 2 were recorded though. So
okay.
Oh, all right. So we got the live.
You are the first live, and Hector, awesome to see you as well. I'll tell you why I'm not impressed, because I spent more than a decade of my life in suits every day, which makes no sense. I don't understand anyone ever wearing a suit in sports, broadcasters, fans, whatever, reporters, all of that. It makes no sense. It's sports. Suits make no sense. So obviously you're not suit status, but even for me now, it would be hard to find me wear a collar. Maybe once or twice in the past year.
Copy.
Kind of on a button down though. So I will say, on the other hand, the button down is swag. It looks great. It's spring training vibes. I would cut the sleeves and I would fix the collar, and then you're good. And I'm playing. But
all right.
I do have PTSD from my over formal MLB Network days.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember our very first graphic ever when we had Scott Braun, when we were on the KOD media. He was suited in that graphic. Since then, it's foul territory, Scott. He's just loose. He's good, man.
Yeah. No, I just got to say, before we even start the conversation, shout out to you guys over there at Foul Territory, Scott. You guys have been killing it with the content. A lot of behind the scenes that some fans aren't used to. And I remember when we first linked up and when you guys decided to go out there with Foul Territory, you said that you wanted to be a place where players can come and feel comfortable and have the conversations, because they have that with the NBA. They have that with the NFL. And you guys with Foul Territory was able to bring that for Major League Baseball. And I think it's phenomenal, Scott.
Thank you. That's been the mission, to create the modern National Baseball Network. I felt like it wasn't out there, and that's what we've been building. We just hit our 1-year anniversary. It feels like it's been 5. And today, for example, because we're on our spring training tour, we hit just about every Met. If you said, hey, name me the first 8 Mets that you can come up with in terms of best to worst on the team. So, we talked to Polar Bear and Lindor, Nimmo, go down the line. And it was awesome. The new guys like Bader and Manaea. So it's been really cool. We've got more shows being added to the mix. We have more voices from the baseball world being added to the mix too. So I appreciate that, and obviously love what you guys are doing. I've known you guys for a few years at this point, right?
I know. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, really I saw a lot of the ones today. I thought the Lindor conversation was great. But heck, if we want, let's jump into a little bit of baseball talk, because you flew my ass all the way out to Tampa for a reason. And I mean, I was very happy, guys, when I saw today's Yankees lineup, because we've got tickets to tomorrow's game, and I didn't see a Judge. I didn't see a Soto. Every time I saw a name that I would usually want to see, I was so happy, because heck, are we going to get to see Soto tomorrow?
Man, we may be able to see, hopefully, since it is a home game at George M. Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees, they save their star players for the home crowd so they can sell out the tickets. That's what happens in Major League Baseball. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate everybody. But let's dive into the conversation. You started off with Juan Soto. I guess that's where we start the conversation. Scott, Juan Soto, big trade for the New York Yankees this offseason. Last year, 82-80, a disappointing season for the New York Yankees. But there's no way that, anybody can tell me that if you add Juan Soto with a healthy Aaron Judge, The Texas Rangers, they won the World Series by getting to 90 wins. That right there, Juan Soto and Judge, so at least get us to 90 wins. What's your thoughts about the trade and the potential for this Yankee lineup?
Yeah, it was, of course, easily the most impactful trade of the offseason. This is basically a once-in-a-generation player in terms of what he can bring, and you're never going to have a better guy hitting in front of Aaron Judge during his career, because you do still have the hit tool, the power threat, but also the fact that he's just not going to give in ever on an AB. And that's what I think impresses most players that he plays with, is the plate discipline is off the charts. It's just beyond what any pitcher or hitter has ever seen. It's like he should just invent the strike zone. I mean, he's better than any ump we've ever seen, right? He'd be the only umpire ever to get all the calls right that we wouldn't even be able to yell at. We'd be like, he's that good, right? And with the pop, and I know there's some, deep on the analytics side that think that he's not going to have as much pop as some people anticipate at Yankee Stadium. I disagree, because they're looking at his bat path and where balls have been hit in the past. And I'm like, but he's a wizard. He's a magician. If he wants to put him over the wall, he's going to, right? I think it'll just be situational. I think he's probably at least 35, if not 40 homers, if he's healthy for the entire season. But also, for the most part, if he has to pass the baton when he has to pass the baton, he will. That'll be great, because we can turn a lot of those solo homers that we've seen from Judge into 2 or 3 run shots. So yeah, they're in much better shape. The offense was a joke last year, and it's not just Soto. I mean, I know it's early, but Rizzo looks good, and Rizzo was a shell of himself. Everyone knew that. That's actually a guy that I thought would age pretty well and still give you that pop, and it just disappeared. We all know the reason why, with the concussion. So their offense is going to be significantly better from last year. And Hector, the only thing I'll worry about is the starting rotation. I think that's still the key concern. The Yankees have done a brilliant job of building bullpens lately. I'm really high on Clay Holmes, still locking it down late in the game and everything that leads up to it. I'm cool. It's just the rotation. I still feel a little bit of Cole, and then I'm still bringing up question marks. Obviously, there are names still in there, but there also is PTSD from what happened last year. Nestor looks good so far this season. I have no idea what to expect from Rodon, and I don't still feel like I know what to expect.
I don't think Rodon knows what to expect from Rodon.
Because we know what he can do if he's clicking, and he shouldn't technically be past his prime. But how pitchers work. I mean, it's a time bomb of an arm. Unfortunately, he is someone that has dealt with injuries going back to college, so I just don't know what to expect from him. I would like to see something else solid that I can rely on. Because even Stroman, who I really like, especially as a back-end starting pitcher, has injury concerns. Look at his recent innings pitched. It's not piling it up. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball in the first half of the season. In the second half,
and then it just
down. Yeah, so I like, but I don't love. And there's too many other teams that I compare their pitching to and feel like they're still a little bit short. So I know it's like a broken record at this point with the 2 dudes that are still out there, but I don't know if they're going to pull it off. If they don't, they're probably going to have to give up a decent amount of prospect capital again at the trade deadline to patch up a hole or 2 in the rotation or in the bullpen.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of Yankee fans, and I'll throw it over to Celso after this. A lot of Yankee fans were disappointed after we didn't land Yamamoto, because we thought Juan Soto and Yamamoto would have been the best offseason to have. So Yankees had to pivot, go with that plan B. Going into the season, like you said, it's Garrett Cole, and it's a lot of question marks. And with these question marks, you got to be able to manage them when it comes to their health and the risk factor for an injury. So, Scott, I want to throw something out there, and I want to get Celso's take on it and get your take on it. I think when it comes to Garrett Cole, you keep him on his regular 5th day, starting spot. But every other pitcher, you move them back if you have to, and you keep them on a 6-man rotation just in case. So you have to limit the innings when it comes to Clark Smith, who clocked 150 innings for the first time last season, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, and Marcus Stroman coming back from injury. Celso, what's your thoughts on the starting rotation? And throw it over to Scott to get his take on that one.
No, I mean, I agree with Scott. It's question marks. There's no one that has any concerns when it comes to our ace in Cole, right? But everything's a question mark on, are we going to get that bounce back from Rodon? Can we count on Nestor, right? Are we going to sit here halfway through the season and be like, damn, look at Severino killing it over there, and here we are with the same headaches and concerns, right? Scott, you said it best. We can sit here and do the whole, Blake Snell, and we can talk about, whatever. And I know we'll probably get into it, Heck, but now seeing what Zach Wheeler just got, that changes a lot of stuff too, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like you got to look at that stuff. So yes, I agree. For me, the biggest concern is our pitching. But I also want to ask Scott, if we can real quick, Scott, is actually, you know what, Scott, go ahead and touch on the pitching one. I'll save my question.
Well, my question is back to Hector then. If you're going with a pseudo 6-man rotation, do we feel like they're deep enough to be able to handle that from day one and then even day 60 when you're probably going to be down at least one pitcher? That would be my only concern. I think most teams nowadays are mixing in extra rest for certain pitchers. So I'm on board with that. They're a little thinner because of how many trades they've made. I mean, just that Soto trade alone unloaded a lot of solid starting pitching, right? And it goes beyond King. So for me, I mean, that's what I'm going to have to be careful with if I'm a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Who's getting that extra start here and there? And how important is it to win the division versus a wild card? Maybe it's not that important, right? I mean, most teams that have thrived lately have been wild card teams. That's a whole nother conversation. When we did our Braves camp show the other day, Brian Snicker was like, I hate the format. I've tried different ways to get my players ready. It's not working lately. And then Eric Kratz even asked him if he would choose having to play an extra round instead of getting the bye in the first round. And he actually thought about it for a while and was almost tempted to be like, he kind of said it. He was like, I want my players to play. You know, I want to sit. We've tried it 2 times. We feel like we've had the best team in baseball and it hasn't worked. So that's something else to keep in mind for the Yanks is, you know, what the struggle is going to be like for the division with maybe the Jays and definitely the Orioles.
Yeah, Heck, no, and with the 6-man rotation, Heck, like how are you laying that out?
Well, when it comes down, you know, with the schedule right now, Major League Baseball, they've made a conservative effort to add extra off days in the middle of the season just to keep the pitchers fresh and like bring down that risk factor for injury. But I think with the analytic department, you could sit down, take the Yankee schedule, and you could pencil everybody in to keep Cole on his 5th day. And if a guy gets moved back because his spot in the rotation is an off day, I think that's a safe way to move around the pieces so you can keep guys fresh. But it's going to be interesting if the Yankees could do it because you bring up that trade that we made for Juan Soto, unloading a lot of our pitching prospects. In 2019, the Yankees hired the new director for the farm. Their name is skipping me right now, but the Yankees made an effort to go in when it comes to developing starting pitching. And if you go back over the last 3 years, Scott, every trade that the Yankees have made, it has been with starting pitching depth. It's been prospects that's been starting pitching. You go back to Oakland A's, you go back to St. Louis, the trade for Harrison Bader. So the Yankees have been able to utilize their pitching at the minor league level to make these trades to help improve the major league roster. So I think when you look at the starting 5 we have right now, you throw in Luke Weaver as a sixth option in that bullpen, and then you still have Luis Hill, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery, Clayton Beeter, Will Warren, and Chase Hampton. So the Yankees potentially have about 9 or 10 guys when it comes to the depth or guys who was ready to step up from the AAA level to contribute.
What's crazy too is it's a lot of what ifs, though, right?
It's still a lot of what ifs. Yeah.
You know, it goes back to the questions. So here's the one. While we had Scott, I had to get answered because everybody in our community knows that if there's one player that I'm hoping comes through big, my most improved player season, I want to talk about my guy Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, for me, Scott, outside of Judge Soto, to me, the biggest piece we need to step up this season is a return of Giancarlo Stanton. I want your opinion on what you expect to see from Giancarlo, and am I crazy in thinking he can have that bounce back?
No, you're not crazy. I just, I'm going to have a hard time seeing it for a full 162. I'll even take flashes where he tears through the league for a week or two and wins games. He's likely going to go down with something, or you're just going to have to be more careful with him. He's been through a lot in terms of injuries. I know there's been the body transformation, and he definitely does look thinner this year, but I've been in camp almost every year with the Yanks when usually you hear the same thing. He did more yoga this offseason, all that. So I know he did actually shed weight. It's not like he's ever been overweight. He's just been looking like more of a football player. And some people are like, well, maybe he looks more of a baseball player. I don't know. I mean, he's mostly looked one way his whole career, and when he has been on the field and feeling good, he's been really good. So who knows what this version of him is going to look like, but it's hard to bet on him as he gets older. I just think you appreciate him when he's on the field, and when he's on the field, you just don't want him hobbling around the bases like he did last year. I don't think it took much to be able to just see him run a few times, from first to third or first to home or whatever. And you're like, something's off here because this dude's way too athletic to be, kind of wobbling around the bases. So you felt like something was very off with him, lower body, whatever it is. Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what your expectations are. Let's put it that way. Let's start there, right? He's not going to be the MVP Marlins level of Giancarlo. So what are healthy expectations for you where you would say, Porto, oh wow, he went off. Like this is what I was dreaming about. It's not like you're dreaming about 285, 50, and 130, right? You're hoping that he plays over 100 games.
That's literally what I wrote down. I said 100 games healthy. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah. And also, here's the thing. I mean, he can be a weapon in the playoffs where he's gone off a couple times for the Yanks in the playoffs, right? So can you catch him at the right time? A lot of the teams that are consistently good are trying to build their roster a little bit differently now and look no further than the Dodgers. They're doing this on the pitching side, right? They've acquired some pitchers that are super high upside that can pitch in a playoff game for you. Because there's many guys where you look at them and you're like, but he's not starting a playoff game for me. I'll give you an example. So with the Cardinals, they pick up a Kyle Gibson. Great innings filler for years. He had a time when he was maybe a little bit more of a 3. Nowadays, he's a 5. He's not starting a playoff game for you, right? So with the Dodgers, the Tyler Glasnow edition, he has not pitched a ton yet, like a very full season in the major leagues. Even James Paxton, who showed us some really nice flashes again last year. Those are guys that have been a little bit more of an injury risk, or for Paxton, a huge injury risk. But if they're clicking, they could pitch a playoff game for you. So anyway, that's my long way around of saying, if Giancarlo Stanton gives me 100 games and he doesn't strike out as much, and he plays nicely, and he's mostly still a DH. I'm not buying the outfield stuff.
Same.
He's feeling it when we get to the playoffs. You can ride a hot hand for a couple weeks, and it could be. That's it. I'm tempering expectations. Like
yeah. Well, Hector,
completely lost and he's done, but I just want to keep him more at like a 5 on the excitement scale these days.
Hector, and Derek Kung Fu D.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Marlins fan. Okay. So he said the other day to me when we were talking about Giancarlo, he said, you realize he's like a jacked up Clark Kent. I was like, huh? He's like, he looks the part, but when you put him on the field, the Superman never comes out. And I was like, that's messed up, man. But that's kind of how everybody sees him. Like, he looks the part. They remember the name from before the trade and that year with us, but they're like, Giancarlo's not Giancarlo. So I'm with you, Scott. I'm hoping 100 plus healthy games. Anything better than last season, and him not in the outfield, and that falls on Boone. Don't put him out there.
You have enough outfield. I know he probably wants to do that. There's so many guys that will say that. Actually, who said that for years is Eloy Jimenez of the White Sox, that he wants to play in the outfield. But for me, it's too many injuries. He's not good out there. I just think, Eloy, if you want to really thrive in the league, just DH it, dude. You got to figure it out. There's other guys that have figured it out. You're a professional. No way you can tell me that I can't function without it. Like, call JD Martinez and be like, hey, I'm going to fly to you in the off season and spend 2 weeks. And I want you to just tell me everything that you do during the year that makes you so good as a DH only, right? Because he's done it.
Yeah. I got it right here. Listen, it's 2024. With the way that these virtual reality simulations are set up, I'm pretty sure major league teams can have a VR setup in the back of the dugout or in the locker room. So if the player is a DH, he could just throw the VR simulator and pretend he's in the field, so you can still get that feeling of being out there. But when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton, back in 2013, when he was first bursting out on the scene, 2013, 2014, I used to work at Zabar's supermarket. It's the oldest delicatessen out on the Upper West Side, and Jeffrey Loria used to come there every day on a regular basis to get his challah bread and to get his rye bread. And I remember having conversations with him. Jeffrey Loria loved Giancarlo Stanton because he always said Stanton is always a team first guy. He may hit home runs left and right, but he cares more about his teammates than he does his individual stats. And you kind of see it when Stanton when he has the conversations with the media. He holds himself accountable. That's the one thing Yankee fans we've been able to say. At least he's not blaming anyone else. At least he's saying, yeah, I'm sucking right now, and he wants to produce just as bad as the fans want him to produce. But I think this offseason And Scott brought it up when you look at the extra outfielders we have. I think Brian Cashman decided, you know what? I'm going to build this team expecting that Giancarlo Stanton is going to go down for an extended period of time. And if we do get Stanton and we catch lightning in the bottle, it's just a plus to the guys that we have on the roster. And I think that's how you have to figure out when it comes to Stanton and the injuries.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, right. What was it? The hamstring in early April, probably never recovered running wise. Well, I'm like, even if he has to sit for a month or two, you probably should have done that, right?
Yeah.
It's not helpful when you have a guy on the field that's not even close to 100%. He'll probably work on some bat path changes. I haven't gotten to see many at bats yet of him specifically in spring training, but yeah, you got to watch the strikeouts, especially at that age. The one thing we do know, when he makes contact, hits the crap out of the ball. So
go far.
Obviously the Yankees staff's going to just keep working on figuring out that is their top goal. Hey, not too worried about you in the field. Go have a party. Go run a marathon before games if you want, right? If you need to feel like you're fresh. And, hey, you're talking about simulating things in between. Maybe you're hitting the bike for, half the game between ABs. There's many ways to do it. So I know he feels like he said this publicly even last year. He's in a better flow and he's in the outfield. They got too many outfielders. This year they did a nice job of building their outfield.
Right.
It's going to be hard to see them putting him out there very frequently.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Heck, was at least this season we do have, depth in the outfield. We're not going into a season without a left fielder and hoping and being forced to have no choice but to put Stanton out there.
No shade on Jake Bauer. He was amazing with the Yankees last year. Shout out to Frank Luna. He did an amazing event with Frank Luna, but Jake Bowers is a minor leaguer who's a natural first baseman or more familiar with playing first base, and we try to convert him into a corner outfielder in left field at Yankee Stadium, which is probably one of the hardest left fields to play in all of Major League Baseball. Scott, I know we got you for just a few more minutes, so I want to respect your time. Last question I want to ask. With the injuries that have happened or been announced with Major League Baseball, Justin Verlander, Lucas Giolito, Sonny Gray, and Scott Boras, we all know the two guys that he has right now that's available. His patience looked like it worked because now teams, they're desperate for starting pitching. And with Zach Wheeler getting that new contract extension, is this a new precipice when it comes to the contract he got? And that should be something that maybe Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery gets over the next couple of weeks. What's your thoughts, Scott?
The Phillies are making it much harder on Scott Boras because it's not just Wheeler, but look at the contract that Aaron Nola signed. Look at the two clients for Scott. They're matching up track records, especially in the last few years, and they're like, I'm just as good as Aaron Nola, right? Blake Snell. I want to Cy Young. Aaron had a 4.5 ERA during the regular season. I know he corrected some things for the playoffs. If I'm Jordan Montgomery, I mean, I was the key chip that was acquired to help the Rangers win a World Series. So that's what's making things difficult because I'm still having a hard time in almost mid-March seeing one of these guys sign for more than Aaron Nola's, I believe, $172 million. And now you're getting a point where they're probably going to miss a couple starts to the season. I know they're probably in a spot where they're simulating as much as they can, but you go back to the Jake Arrieta deal that Boras did with the Phillies years back. He ended up starting a little bit late. We've seen it, I think, with Lance Lynn and a few others. I mean, we're getting pretty late at this point for a signing. So I know when it comes to the Yankees, the conversation goes around how they're past that final luxury tax number, and so it's essentially going to cost them double. The other thing with Boston is I'm confused because they lose Giolito, but even if they add a Snell or a Montgomery, and we hit this on Foul Territory today, we were like, are they a playoff team? Are they even out of the cellar in the AL East? Because now they just lost a starter who, yes, has had some troubles the last few years, but still is in a prime age. And I think the Red Sox were banking on Giolito finding it a little bit again and at least being like a 3 for them. He could be done for the year based on the initial diagnosis. So the Red Sox are a full-fledged mess or a full throttle mess. You've been following that story and the line that they're one of their owners threw out there at the beginning of the year. So I know Yankees fans went through it, especially for their standards last year, being about a 500 team. But, hey, I know the Red Sox have won more in the 21st century, but if you look at the last few years, the Red Sox are really the bottom of the division. Yeah. Not going to change this year either. So to answer your question on Boras, maybe a few other teams open up. I think even despite the injuries, there are some other teams that are interested more in the price coming down because I bet you the price was well into like the 200s for 3.5 months. And they're finally like, all right, this isn't happening. You see 2 deals that go for well under what most people thought they would go for with Chapman and Bellinger. So I think it's more a product of maybe a team like the Phillies going, we don't necessarily need this, but if the price is at this level, maybe we do make a phone call now. If teams like the Cubs and the Giants are not being aggressive enough with those 2 starters. So we'll see what happens. But I think it has more to do with how late it's getting and the prices coming down than the injuries popping up. Like, do we think that the Cardinals will suddenly react and sign someone because Sonny Gray might miss a couple starts? I don't know, but it's just been a weird market because some of the big market teams are just not operating like that anymore. And they might never go back. I mean, their ownership might be like, yo, we're going to operate in the, in the 150 to 180 million dollar range and let the Yanks, Dodgers types of teams go 250 plus, right? And just let them do their thing because we've seen wild card teams like the Diamondbacks make the World Series. It's a crappy way to do business in my mind if you're a big market team to kind of hide some of those profits. And I feel bad for, say, Red Sox fans right now, but I'm sure Yankees fans are having a blast knowing that they're probably going to beat the crap out of Boston this year.
Nah, I plead the fifth. So, Heck, do you mind if I ask one real quick right before we let Scott go? Because you said you see the Red Sox being at the bottom. I agree with you 100%. But that leads us to this question then. Who's going to be the surprise team in 2024 to emerge? For you, Scott, who's that team that's at undercover? No one's really talking about it, and we see the turnaround.
Because I'm on my little podcast tour right now, I've been raising the flag for the Cincinnati Reds if we're flipping it and leaving it open for both sides, because you're trying to find a team that didn't make the playoffs, but I think has a very good shot of winning the division in the NL Central. It's a division that pretty much got worse. The Cardinals got a little better with their starting pitching ads. The Cubs are pretty much equal from last year in terms of what the ads did for them. They already had Bellinger. They just brought him back, and there's a couple pitchers like Imanaga and Neris. The Brewers got worse by trading away Corbin Burns. So for me, Cincinnati had an insane run of rookies that came up last year, and I think at least half of those rookies are going to shine again in year 2. I'm a huge Ellie De La Cruz fan, but it goes well beyond him. Matt McClain was their most consistent, solid rookie last year. They added pitching and Candelario for depth, but they also added pitching over the offseason here. I really like Nick Martinez. He's a swing man. Emilio Pagan. So I think the Reds make the playoffs in the division. They're not favored to make the playoffs. They didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. They only finished, I think, 2 or 3 games out of a wild card spot. So that's my surprise team if I have to pick one. There are a few others I can think of, but that's the one where I'm like, hey, everyone should be talking about the Reds. And I mean, I'm certainly going to throw down some money on winning the NL Central.
Yeah, and of recent,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say of recent years, people always laughed and said that the easy punching bag was the NL Central. But I think when you got teams like the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, that's my surprise team to make an emergence. When you look at their number 1 pitching prospect overall, O'Neill coming back, Mitch Keller in that starting rotation. So I think both the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to surprise people this season. It's just going to come down to who's the better, more athletic player, O'Neill Cruz or Ellie De La Cruz. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, Ellie had swing and miss issues in the second half, but for me, if I'm taking 5 more years of a player, 10 more years of a player, I'm definitely Ellie over O'Neill. I really like O'Neill too, and his main bugaboo right now is he's got to figure out how to hit lefties, so you keep him in the lineup every day. And I know he's coming off an injury too. Those are 2 freaks in the game. Infielders really that are monsters that can dunk over everyone, that are just like toolsy as hell. So I'm with you. I'm excited to see those. I'm definitely higher on the Reds than I am on the Pirates, but I like that. And I think that plays to the point because I know you got a lot of Yanks fans watching. It's, to me, more predictable on the American League side than NL, right? Like when I'm writing up predictions, like you feel like the Orioles, the Yankees, and probably the Blue Jays or the Reds are a playoff team. I mean, Blue Jays or the Rays, right? You feel like probably the Twins are going to win the Central. The Central didn't do that much. I mean, the Royals got better, but they're still not probably a playoff team. And then out west, you've got 3 teams and 2 terrible teams, right? The A's are bottom 3 in the league. The Angels are going to be pretty bad, probably 100 losses. Mariners have a great staff, a staff that the Yanks fans are probably dreaming of. Astros got better with Hector, and the Rangers won the World Series. So I don't know. It's easier to look at like tier A and then the rest. The National League, it's like there's the Braves, Dodgers, and Phillies, and then we're like, I don't know.
Anybody else? Yeah, it's
yeah. Besides, there's not that many teams on the National League side that were like, they're screwed. They have no chance. Like you mentioned the Pirates. Pirates could be a 100-loss team. They could finish in last, or they could shock the world in the National League Central because it's just an okay division.
Exactly. Yeah. Scott, appreciate you jumping on with us. So let Scott go. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat.
We love you, bro. Appreciate you. And baseball back. We'll get you back during the season, man. Tell the guys we all said hey, and we appreciate you guys, bro.
You know it. I appreciate you guys too, and have fun in camp.
Yeah,
definitely will. We're going tomorrow to the game. Probably going to catch some Yankee fans. We were going to do an interview trying to go on the street looking for Blake Snell. We're going to do an undercover investigation looking for Blake Snell to see if he's by Yankees spring training.
He's taller than you think. Keep that in mind. So it's okay. I don't know what he's listed.
So I should be looking up the whole time.
Okay, looking up.
Okay. I think he's 6'4"-ish, and he's like a real 6'4". Like he's a pretty big dude. That's why actually long term durability, like he's got the build where you're like, all right, this dude's not going to break down in my mind. So make sure if you see a dude that's like 6 feet, that ain't him. Okay.
Nice. Right. Scott, I'm so glad you're here. I've been talking to the wrong people. Thanks, bro. Later, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Later, bro. That was our guy, Scott Braun from Foul Territory. If you guys aren't following Foul Territory, what are you doing with your life? Let's do a little bit of the roll call before we continue, my guy.
Stretch when we do.
We got to stretch this out. We got to stress this out. We got over 50 people in the building right now. If you're watching us and if you haven't hit that like button or hit that subscribe button, smack those buttons for your boys. We got our guy Double A in the building.
Double A, see you tomorrow.
We will see you tomorrow, fly guy. Richie Rivera from Empire State of Baseball. Richie, how you doing? Hector Cruz is in the building. Our friend Mr. Q is in the building. Anthony Garcia, mi hermano de la Isla, is in the building. Veteran Capybara is in the building. Got to shout out the Capybaras. Acevedo is in the building. On Dios NYK is in the building. My guy Chris N. Future Yanks is in the building. 19 Con Man, that's A1 since day one. Damian Serrano. We linked up with Damian on Sunday. Shout out to Damian Serrano for coming through. It was awesome. It was a great time linking up. Damian Serrano will be joining me during the regular season for the Yankees pregame report. You guys get ready. It's going to be good. Go ahead, Sos.
And Damian showed up with a little birthday present. He said, my boy needs a bottle of Crown. I love you, Damian. We're hooking up with Damian again. Excited to have him as a part of the team now, man. He'll be here Monday through Thursday doing the pregame report with Hector. So you guys are going to want to tune into that. There's different guest co-hosts each day of the week leading into Fridays. It's going to be a blast, man, Damian. So excited to have you here. But yeah, dude, I'm excited, bro. I know we got more topics and we got some more time, right?
No, yeah, we definitely do got some more topics. We're going to rock out to about like 6 o'clock just because we have to get ready for the Knicks game later on today. We have to talk about the news that hit the news wire yesterday. I wish we had like an insert for like breaking news. But former Yankee great, the skunk himself, Josh Donaldson, has called it a career. He was on the Sean Casey podcast. And he said it's over. 13 years, Josh Donaldson. He had a phenomenal, career. Won an MVP with the Toronto Blue Jays as well. Former Yankee, ain't work out here in the Bronx. What's your thoughts before we continue? Go ahead.
That man's dead to me. He was dead to me before we got rid of him. Okay. Like you said, man, I'm sorry. I mean, is he really going to be a benefit for anybody? He's making the right choice. We saw him, spiral down in the end of his career, and it didn't work out here. And wish him the best, but I'd rather focus on what we got in return. And I don't care, bro. I just have no love for Josh Donaldson. I couldn't fake it during the season. I can't fake it now.
It's not because because you and I, we don't know Josh Donaldson personally, right? It's from a fan perspective. When you see,
Anna's right there. Enjoy your money. Don't come back on my
basically
TV
what it is.
Ever.
And shout out to Anna Maria. Anna Maria, we got your email. Thank you for that, and that we will be handling that situation. Definitely appreciate you for that email. But when it comes to Josh Donaldson, same thing. We don't know him personally. Hopefully, he enjoyed that money. That trade is gonna go down as literally the worst trade in Brian Cashman's tenure as the president of baseball operations for the New York Yankees. The shitty skunk mullet. Shout out to Pete for that one. But I want to show this for the people, just so you guys know this is a little bit of the preview. Shout out to our guy Phil for working on this for the Yankees pre-game report. It's going to be Monday through Fridays at 6 p.m. Like I said, we're going to have different people joining with me. Damian Serrano is going to be down with me. Jason from 161 River Ave. Joe from The Shift. My guy Anthony Rivera, NFE as well. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you tune in an hour before the game at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7. We're going to talk some bets. We're going to talk some parlays. We're going to talk some Yankee baseball at the same time. Bingo, bango. So.
Yeah. And then I get to hang out with you guys on Fridays. It's just fun, man. You know, we want to bring as much Yankees content as we can. And then, you know, we also got the Mets stuff, but we don't need to talk about the Mets guys today. You know, not on this.
No, channel. Last thing I'm going to say when it comes to Josh Donaldson, right? And this is the last thing I'm going to say. Right. Michael K, he had a show the other day, and he said something that I felt we needed to have the conversation because it was a lot more frustrating, right? After listening to what Michael K had to say. According to Michael K, after the New York Yankees traded for Josh Donaldson, apparently people from the Minnesota Twins organization, they hit up Michael K and was like, what is wrong with the Yankees? Thank you so much. They wanted to get rid of Josh Donaldson. When you look at his stats, his last good year was with the Atlanta Braves. After that, it was a decline. How, if you have one of the biggest, if not the biggest analytical department in Major League Baseball, how are you not taking his numbers and saying that you see an older player declining? What makes you think you're going to get an uptick for that? Defensively, he was a little bit better than Gio Urshela, but for the offensive, a little bit. But for the offensive production and for the cost, I would have definitely rather just kept Gio. If you wanted to get rid of Gary Sanchez that bad, you could have just waived them, just released them.
Yeah, and bro, I mean, I can remember us literally talking about it on the Yanks Brew when that trade went down and all that. I was always a big fan of Gio. It didn't make sense to me, you know, and it was like, you were paying him much. To me, it was one of those ones. I remember saying it back then. It was one of those that Cashman just really liked him. It was like a Cashman favorite, and Cashman was going to grab that guy no matter what. And he went dumpster diving. It wasn't worth it, man.
Definitely wasn't worth it, especially when you look at the production that we got out of Josh Donaldson for the course. And, you know, it stopped the Yankees from making other moves. That $50 million that you committed to Josh Donaldson, you could have used that for another starting pitcher. You could have used that for a better bat. Right? You look what Minnesota did. Yes, Carlos Correa hasn't fully worked out for the Minnesota Twins, but they were able to add that potential because we helped them and took away a bad contract. They gave Josh Donaldson a bad contract, and we helped them out by taking his contract off of their books. Shout out to Michael Caputo in the chat. Shout out to Anna Marie as well. What he said?
He said he was giving us
I'm over Gio now. Yeah.
But he gave good reason too.
No. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Switching gears, you know, switching the conversation, right? We brought up those starting pitchers for Scott Boras, right? We brought up the injuries right now, and we brought up the contract with Zach Wheeler. Shorter years, higher AAV. I think now going forward, especially when you look at the older starting pitchers, unless you're a guy like Yamamoto, who's 24, 25 years old, going into free agency, you're not going to get that 8 or 7 or 9 or 10-year deal anymore. Right. That's not happening anymore. I think the new precipice or the new norm when it comes to Major League Baseball and veteran starting pitching, it's going to be high AAV for about 3 or 4 years. And we got Tom Thibodeau in the chat. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau in the building.
Hey, yo, Tibbs, we need you to put those rotations good tonight, bro.
Do me a favor. Shave your head, all right? Just shave the Brillo pad off your head, okay? Join the gang. It's not that hard. Go ahead, Sos.
So it ended up being what, 3-year, 126, so 42 mil?
About 40, 42 mil, yeah.
I mean, kind of like what Scott said, right? I mean, it puts it now into a position where everybody's sitting there saying, okay, you're not going to get what you've been asking for in these low 200s. It's time to get realistic, right? Yeah. So, and now, again, what did Scott say? You can see a team that doesn't really need him saying, well, if it's going to be at that price, we can pull it off, right? I'm still going to ask, though, are we as a fan base just calling for him because it's the only real option that's available? Because we didn't go into the season. We had our wish list, and Snell wasn't there originally. So are we still here just saying because we have so many concerns with our pitching, that's why as a fan base we're like, go.
I'm good with our starting rotation right now. I know it's just early into spring training. Carlos Rodon, he got roughed up by some minor leaguers and people making a big deal out of that. But for me, I'm good with who we have right now. I don't think the New York Yankees are willing to make that leap. If the price keeps coming down, then yeah, you play ball. If that price just keeps dropping for Blake Snell, cool. If you're the New York Yankees, one thing you don't want to do is outbid yourself, because if there's no other teams that are bidding for Blake Snell, don't outbid yourself. Right now, for me, I'm good on Blake Snell. I can pass because I think Michael Caputo and Anna, we all agreed last week, and I'm holding still to it. Our deadline was Friday. He didn't sign with us on Friday. That was the deadline. I'm good. I'm putting my feet in the sand, and I'm holding the line right now. I'm holding the line for Caputo and for Anna Marie. Like she said, I am over Snell. I'm with Caputo's deadline, and it passed. Let Snell go somewhere else. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, because, again, even if no shade, but even if you sign him, to me, it's still a question mark. Yeah, it helps, but we still have so many concerns with our starting unit, right? So let's see how that plays out. It's still going to come down to that trade deadline time. I think the only thing that piques my interest is that if the money does come down, then you have no choice but to really look at it. Like you said, don't outbid yourself. Let the market come to you. And now seeing the Wheeler deal, I mean, here's the other concern, though. You might see guys being like, well, you know what? I had a better season. What was Snell's season last year compared to Wheeler?
Oh, Snell had a phenomenal year, right? And when it comes to Blake Snell, Blake Snell won the Cy Young last year. And 2, when it comes to Blake Snell, he has amazing numbers in the postseason. Nobody can deny what that man can do when it comes to playoff time in October baseball. Right. So Blake Snell definitely had a better season than Zach Wheeler. He's probably going to be looking cool. Zach Wheeler got 42. We're around the same age. Zach Wheeler, I think, is a year or 2 older than Blake Snell at the moment. So Blake Snell is probably going to cool. You set it at $42 million a season. I want 42 or 45 million.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, like I said to you earlier, man, outside of Cole, we didn't have any other pitcher give us 30-plus games. Snell, can give you that 30-plus, right? So that's a big benefit there. But again, I think we might be good waiting till we get to that trade deadline and see where we're at realistically with our pitching crew. Because if Rodon pulls it together, then I think we're in real good shape. Heck, I see Richie and them asking, are we dropping any open panel links today? What do we got? 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's drop the open panel. We got 15 minutes to rock out. Let's drop it. Let's drop it.
The people have asked for the link.
The people have asked for the link. Let's drop the link. When you come up, tell us your take, give the take, and we'll bring up the next person depending on how many people show up. But I want to have Richie up here.
Be respectful.
I want to have
be respectful.
Be respectful to the terms and services. Shout out to our guys. Don't be a douchebag.
Get it together.
So we got the first one that's backstage.
Let me switch it. Go ahead. Switch.
We got our guy. I'm not gonna even say his name. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you're ready to rock. Let me get my guy in here. The fly guy, Mr. Damian Serrano in the building. What it do, my guy?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Chilling, bro. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm just working the usual, fellas. How was everybody feeling?
Listen, if you would ask me that question last night, Damian, I was feeling good. That crown, boy, that crown was great.
No, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Happy birthday again. Happy birthday to the wifey Hector as well.
I appreciate you, Damian.
I'm glad I got an opportunity to meet you guys. You guys are amazing. And more importantly, I'm glad to be on the team. So let's go for the pregame.
Let's go.
I'm about to hop in the ride as you guys don't normally see me walking, so I'm always on the run. So
no one believes it's really Damian right now. They're like, this man is not in a car.
He's in the car. It's cool. Yeah, there you go.
Everybody knows who it is now. We doing all right.
Damian, my brother, appreciate you. It was dope linking up IRL. We're gonna do many more things this season. You be safe out there, brother. And before we leave town, we got to link up one more time or a few more times.
We are definitely going to link one more time. My daughter was sick, obviously, so she definitely wants to meet you. Definitely wants to meet Jigga. She thinks Jigga's the funniest thing in the world. I'm definitely going to link up one more time. Nice. You guys are going to the game tomorrow?
Yes, we're going to the game tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna try to sneak in there and squeeze one in. So,
Copy. Let
one
us
way or
know.
the other, we're gonna link up. And again,
Definitely.
I appreciate everything. Again, thank you for welcoming me to the team chat. Looking forward to seeing everybody Monday through Thursday. And yo, let's get it, man.
Let's go.
Let's do it, baby. Damien, appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
You be safe. That was our guy,
Damien.
the fly guy. He's looking
I didn't
very
believe it was
Damien,
him
very
on the car,
dapper.
bro.
We got a couple more people backstage. We're gonna bring up the next person. We got unpopular back there. Let me get some. Yeah, Gio, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know if you're ready. There he is. Our guy, Mr. Unpopular Opinion. Another member of the Morning Brew familiar. Unpop, how you feeling?
I'm good, fellas. How you?
Good,
I'm good, brother. You know, glad to talk. Glad to see you, bro. Hope all is well. Hope the fam's doing good as well, bro.
Everything's good. I just wanted to come on real quick to say I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have fun in Tampa. I'm baking cookies, so I'm trying to make this quick. But fellas, I love you guys.
Love you, Gio.
Love you too.
Looking forward to Saturday's episode, bro. We love you.
Absolutely.
All right, baby. Yo, Gio, appreciate you, my guy. So we got one more person to bring up to the open panel to join us in the conversation. And we got the Caputis back there. Caputi, let me get a thumbs up and bring us in. Mr. Michael Caputo. How you doing, Caputis?
I'm doing good, man. So that's
good.
The Blake Snell
deadline is gone. It came, it went. It's over when it comes to Mr. Blake Snell. It came and it's gone. But Caputo, honestly, we've had, more games since the last time we've talked when it comes to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Juan Soto is on fire right now.
I'm just gonna say Juan Soto Juan Soto is my right now he's amazing, man. I can't really say enough. Juan Soto is the most he's the hottest commodity right now. He's
yep.
I mean, as expected. So I gotta say he looks the most impressive as expected. And yeah, I mean, I just love Juan Soto. He's great. This is he's coming. He's gonna re-sign back with the Yankees next year. I'm really sick of these Met rumors. It's annoying me. I'm
right there with you, Capoots.
I wish they would sign him like in mid-season, like just get this over with now, so we don't have to worry about next year.
Of course, that would be like the best case scenario for us Yankee fans. But we know that the Yankees, that's not their tradition when it comes to re-signing players, and also when it comes to Scott Boras, he wants to make sure his guy touches free agency. But I just wanted to bring one more thing up, and I'll throw it over to you, Caputo. Spencer Jones as well.
Yeah,
Spencer Jones last year, he had the 5th highest strikeout rate in the entire Yankee farm system, right? The Yankees told him, we need you to work on your strikeout rate. Bring that down. He got back. He linked back up with his college hitting coach. He went back to Vanderbilt to work with him. As of right now, Spencer Jones has 84 to 86 at bat because they had a game today. He hasn't swung and missed at a pitch so far in 84 to 86 at bats. That right there, I get it. You have some pitchers that are in there that are minor league pitchers, but these are still pitchers that Spencer Jones is going to see when he's down there at AA, when he's down there at AAA. The boy's on fire. What's your thoughts on Spencer Jones before you go to the next topic, Capoots?
Yes. I love what Spencer Jones is doing. I'm very impressed. And this kid looks like a phenom, man. He's I mean, you really can't ignore it. And I'm not big, you know me, I'm not big on prospects, but what this kid's doing, I guess you have to hang on. You got to hang on to him for the time being because what he's doing is very impressive. And I definitely liking what Spencer Jones is doing. And I was going to get to my next comment with the Blake Snell thing.
Go ahead, baby.
I think Blake Snell is going to sit out this season. I think we're seeing the Dallas Keuchel type situation here because if you remember, Dallas Keuchel didn't sign with with the Braves until May. So you might see a situation here with Blake Snell that he might not sign until April or May. And if that's the case, let him, because really no team is wanting to sign this guy. Look, he's a good pitcher. I don't think this guy's a Hall of Fame pitcher. He's no Pedro Martinez or Randy Johnson. So
I think when it comes to Blake Snell, that's an interesting point, and I'll throw it over to Celso to get his take. We got Chris and backstage. Chris will bring you up in a second when we get let Caputo go. But when it comes to Blake Snell and Dallas Keuchel, the reason why Dallas Keuchel sat out that long before he signed is because he was attached to a qualifying offer. Teams were going to lose draft picks. Teams were going to lose international money. So they waited until Keuchel reached that deadline past that date, and then he was signed by another team.
Was terrible.
And he was definitely terrible because he had to rush back. And he had a very short and abbreviated spring training. when it comes to Blake Snell, because he's attached to that qualifying offer, I brought this up 3 weeks ago. We may see a scenario that Blake Snell has to wait until that deadline when he's not attached to that qualifying offer, to those picks, to that money before a team sign himself. So I'll throw it over to you and kick it over to Caputo to get his last take before we let him go and bring up our guy Chris.
But yeah, Crackle Nuts, we actually here in Tampa, bro. Hector,
yes,
me,
sir.
Phil,
that's right,
here,
baby.
Rocking.
I got my baseball interviewer polo on because this is what they wear out here, you know. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I didn't get the memo, bro, and I feel left out, but it's good. I was gonna say on the Spencer Jones topic, I just saw because I was wondering, I wonder would he get some play time tomorrow and we get be able to see him there. But they did announce today that he is done with the major league camp. They're sending him down to the minor league spring training roster. So that was it for Jones. The report just came out. Yeah, great showing.
Yeah, great showing. Listen, we could probably catch him in the practice field tomorrow. So if you guys go to spring training, if you're still out here, if you want to catch some of those minor leaguers that got sent down from the major league squad, you can still catch them in the practice field. Go ahead, Sel.
Yeah, and I'll just throw it over to Caputo so he can give his last take. But Caputo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is multiple episodes of the Yanks Morning Brew that you've come up here with positive vibes about the Yankees, bro.
I know. This is crazy.
If wondering if we're closer to freaking 28 people. We are. We're closer because even Caputo.
Check your blood pressure. Check your blood pressure 2 times in a row. Caputo.
Yeah.
Number 3 is a bad number. You don't want to come up the next time and then crap the bed. So keep this same energy, baby.
I mean, he literally came up here and he said, ladies and gentlemen, Juan Soto is my spirit animal. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, we're good.
Almost 800 in spring training.
Caputo, last take before you go. Love you, brother.
Okay. What, last take? My last take
is
Blake Snell is going to have no job, and Jordan Montgomery is going to have no job.
Okay. Copy. Listen. That's our guy, Mr. Caputis. Caputo, appreciate you like always. See you this Thursday. Make sure you tap in for the pregame report during the season. Going to have many people up here. We got our guy Chris N backstage, and then I got Richie Rivera. Richie's going to be the last person before we close it out. Chris, matter of fact, since Richie and Chris, they know each other, let's just bring them up at the same damn time. Let's throw a curveball right now. I'm going to bring my guy Chris up, and I'm going to bring my guy Richie Rivera. We're bringing them up. Shout out to my guys. How you doing?
What a bunch of beautiful bastards we got on this show right now. I love it.
It got super sexy in a push of a button, man.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Man,
right,
but
Chris,
guys,
what's up, man?
Chris,
how we feeling?
How you feeling?
I'm good. Listen, I haven't hit the barber. I don't know about beautiful on this side, but I'm with you. I appreciate the love, baby.
Listen, it's very coiffed, all right? You got the coiffed beard, okay? Over there, you're looking very coiffy. You're good.
We actually have a pretty awesome progression of beards right now, if you look, because I just shaved like 2 days ago. From me to Kelso to Hector to Chris right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
look, boom, look, it starts with Richie, then it goes to Jigga, then it goes to me, and then it goes to Chris. There you go. It's like it's like the missing link that you see in the museum.
Well, for my older guys, I'm going with the Serpico thing. I'm going with it for my older guys.
Working, bro. It's working.
There you go. The Serpico's working. The Serpico's working. But I'm gonna throw it over to Chris first. Chris, you've been listening to the conversation. How are you feeling right now at spring training? I'm gonna throw it over to you, and then throw it over to Richie Rivera, the tag team on the conversation.
So I'll run through a couple things really quick.
Go ahead.
I have a lot of high hopes for Jones. I think a lot of us do, especially like Rich. Rich has a lot of knowledge on these younger guys. I thought maybe, and this could be a stretch, but maybe if Grisham wasn't in that deal, maybe Jones would have got a little bit of a better shot to stick around. Now it would have been a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, same thing with Volpe last year. He lights it up, and it's like, all right, well, let's give him a shot. I love what I've seen from him, and kind of like what you said earlier. I mean, the strikeouts went down, the contact was there, even when he was out. Like, it was contact outs. It wasn't strikeouts, horrible swings, nothing like that. I thought that was great. I'm with Jigga. Like I said, I'm going to run around real quick so Richie can go. I'm with Jigga on the Giancarlo thing. I really, really think the slimming down, because I made this point before, right? Bodies aren't made to be like nowadays, everybody's squatting 600 or let me do 650 to show off on the internet. Bodies aren't made for that. Like bodies aren't, and these guys are breaking down. Like you got a Saquon who's kind of, different sport, but breaking down a lot more because these guys are just squatting unreasonable amount of pounds. You don't need that. So I think him slimming down is a big thing. Now, do I think he plays 150? No. But, I mean, I can see Giancarlo at 110, 258, give or take, somewhere around there.
Yep.
The home runs will be there. So, that's a plus for us. And, again, and I've said this before, even if he's not really producing, Giancarlo in the lineup, healthy, is still scary. Pitchers still have to worry about it. So that's big, especially if he's in that 6-7 spot. Where you're leading to that Wells, Volpe, leading into them.
Great point.
Another thing, before I go to Rich, I think Volpe gets 41 bags this year.
Oh, there you go.
Love it.
I think him not getting as many bags last year was the average, obviously. But once he gets on base, he's a bag threat every single time. We just seen Acuna still 62, 61 or something like that. So if Volpe does raise his average, which I think he will, because you see it already, the contact is there. He's getting nice hits. He's getting nice swings. I got Volpe with 41 bags this year.
Nice. Richie, throwing it over to you. My guy said 41. I'm looking up the sports betting apps right now to put that bet down. Chris, if I hit, we splitting that. We going to AC, my guy. Go ahead, Rich.
I'm gonna price is right Chris's ass and just go 42. I mean, it's my favorite number, but let's just go the one over while we're at it. Chris, I love the lofty expectation for Volpe, but hey, with his new command at the plate, you got to expect this guy to get on base more, which means more stolen base chances. So I'm right there with you. 40 plus bags is definitely an expectation that I could see for Anthony Volpe this season. Love the Spencer Jones note too there, Chris. I almost kind of wish Spencer Jones was competing for an actual spot on this team right now, because at this point, Jones can hit 470-foot home runs for the rest of the month, and he's still not going to make this team, unfortunately. That's how much great outfield depth this team has. And we kind of made this note the other day, Chris, about Everson Pereira as well, talking about how Pereira has looked good thus far in spring training. It's a damn shame, because this is another player who probably has a roster spot on this team, but right now he's really just going to be, filling out the AAA roster at this moment. Guys, I do want to make this note, because last night on the show, last night on Empire State of Baseball, and shout out to Hector and Chris for tagging along and jumping into the chat. It was a lot of fun having you guys in there. One player I did touch on at the very beginning of the show was Anthony Rizzo. Love what I'm seeing out of Rizzo thus far in camp. Love to see that he's healthy right now. I mean, this is a cog in the lineup, guys, that, hey, prior to his injury last year, was off to a career year with the Yankees. He is going to be a major part to deepen this lineup for the Yankees, which obviously we get excited at that 2-3 spot, but you still have 6 more spots in that lineup to fill out a real batting order, and Rizzo's going to be a great complimentary piece, especially if he's back.
And I think having Juan Soto, his presence in the lineup, not only will it benefit Aaron Judge, but it's going to benefit everybody else in that lineup. Everybody 100%. Is going to be the better version of themselves, because they get to go to batting practice and BP with Juan Soto. They get to talk about the craft with Juan Soto and with the new hitting coach that we have, Mr. James Rosen, right? So when it comes to this team, the potential is through the roof. It's a lot of question marks, but the potential is through the roof. Richie, Chris, Celso, I'll throw it back over to you, my guy. We're going to get ready to start wrapping things up. Go ahead, Celso.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything they said. And Rich took it right when he went. I was about to say the exact same thing when it comes to Spencer Jones, right? It's no matter what he does, all the improvements, everything, it's great. And at the same time, it sucks to say it, but it is great that we're in a situation where we do have a kid like that we're going to let him evolve, let him get better. I mean, just such a drastic change from last offseason to this. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're going to be there for a bit, my guy. We all were saying it last year. We'll see you 2025. You're on track and you're forcing their hand. Listen, put us in that position. That's great. Do enough that come trade deadline, we can sit there and say, yo, if we were to move something, we do have another piece we can bring up that's ready, right? So all kudos and flowers for Spencer Jones. The Rizzo thing, I'll touch on that real quick. No one's doubted Rizzo. We all, as a fan base, all agreed last season the front office screwed Rizzo. We all knew something was wrong. Rizzo's body knew something was wrong, and we all called it out for weeks. And then, a concussion. How the hell did you not notice it? So we all knew when he got healthy, Rizzo is Rizzo. That's never a concern for me. Last year's Yankees didn't suck. Our health sucked. Our rotation had issues. We just ran the gauntlet of shitty luck. Now we're back to where, hey, if we're healthy, hey, that lineup that was already scarier just got that much scarier with a Soto. There's no reason why we can't be on a high and go into these spring training games with the energy we have, because, guys, this is the closest I feel we've been to 28. And last year, we all went into the season, not most of us sitting here, this is the year for 28.
Yep.
We didn't.
Yep.
We all said here, how can we get 28 without people? How can we get 28 without a left fielder? How can we get 28 with a Josh freaking Donald, right? So here we are where it actually looks realistic. So I think we're in good hands, man. I think tomorrow I need to see some Judge. I need to see some Soto. Please, Yankees, give it to me, please.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
One
go
last
ahead, Chris.
point,
Go ahead, baby.
Because I know we got to get out of here. And I did want to mention this. It slipped my mind.
Go ahead, bro.
Schmidt said, Snell who? Schmidt is showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
What I love, because, again, he's a number 5. And me and Rich have spoken about this. What do we expect from a number 5, right? But he's throwing strikes. He's attacking the strike zone. He's not going to get the strikeouts. Like, he's not going to give you 8 strikeouts in the game, right? But if he attacks the strike zone, it's a good thing for him because he's not walking 2 batters and then giving that home run up. Then it's a 3-run bomb. He'll give the home run up, but attack. If you're going to get the hit. But not for nothing, I'm not going to walk 2 guys and then get you the hit. I'm going to attack the strike zone, and either you're going to ground out, fly out, or get the hit, and I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to walk 3 batters before that hit comes. And I love that, the confidence. I feel like Cole is maybe helping him. And again, like, attack the strike zone. Tell the Yankee organization you don't even have to think about $63 million for Snell. I'm here. I got this job. I'm going to lock it up, and I'm here. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100% agree with both takes. Richie, Chris, appreciate you guys. Also, folks in the chat, just know Richie Rivera will be joining me for the Yankees pregame report this upcoming season. And Chris, you know it's an open door policy. Whenever you want to come, you can definitely join me. Chris, I know you're still backstage. Just wait right there. We're going to end the show, but I want to holler at you real quick backstage when the show is over. So just wait for me. Folks in the chat, appreciate everybody for showing up. If you guys don't mind, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We are sitting at 3,760 on the subscribers, 40 away from 3,800. Celso, got a Yankee game tomorrow. We're going to be out there. We're going to be talking to Yankee fans. We're going to be doing our undercover investigations, looking for Blake Snell on the street. So, last words before we get out of here, gorgeous.
Deuces!